What is up, everyone? Happy Football Friday, live from Indy. Jimmy will be on shortly. Got Christian on for the first time.
What's up? What's up? Happy to be here.
Yes, sir. A lot more packed show than we have had in recent shows with the off season. So, first thing we're gonna go through is just combine kind of recap. Day one, D line, linebackers. So, I mean, in terms of interior guys, I was impressed with one of the Oregon guys, Derek Harmon, had a solid day. 4.95 40, 1.7 on the 10-yard split. Most important for the or 1.74 actually, 10-yard split. Most important for the big guys there. 6'4 and a half, 313. Pretty solid. I don't know if he moved all the way up into day 2. I don't know if he was day 2 already, but and then the other interior guy I liked was my boy Tyrion Ingram Dawkins. He led most of the D line testing numbers. 4.86, big man flying down the 40 lane.
It's a big boy.
169 on a 10-yard split. I think that was tied for first in the D tackle group. 36 inches on the vert, getting up there, and then 10.4 on the broad. 6'5", 276. Lighter guy, really light for interior, but uses it well. So, any interior guys you liked?
Yeah, I think two guys that kind of stood out for me. One was Alfred Collins out of Texas. He only ran a 5.17, but he looked really smooth and running the drills, and you could see the power in him, and I really liked what I saw from him. And then one other guy was Ty Robinson out of Nebraska.
Mhm.
You know, I know you're going to see that name buzzing a lot around here, but 4.83, his size is pretty incredible, and he moved well as well. So
Yeah, he's also on the lighter side, 288, 6'5", 288. But yeah, he was definitely one that I watched as well. Going to edge rush. I know I came in wanting to see him, and I was impressed just by seeing him, even before he did anything. Before he did anything, I was like, damn.
yeah,
Landon Jackson's a dude.
yeah,
Yeah. He looks like a dude. Was 6'6", 264, ran 4.68, 1.65 split.
Yeah, he really just stood out. He stood out with this and the presence amongst the edge rushers. It was cool to see.
Yeah, and also, I mean, he looked pretty good. The little bit I saw him do on-field drills, movement-wise, when they're doing the side-to-side shuffle, back pedal, come forward as well, looked pretty solid doing that. Another guy was, I think, James Pierce. It was a lot of people, top guy yesterday as well. 4.47.
Yeah, he came out, showed his speed for sure.
156, 10-yard split. What I was surprised, though, is 31-inch vert. Like, I didn't understand how he can have so much speed and have the explosion on the 10-yard, and then you only jump 31 inches.
Yeah, the vert didn't match, right?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense.
And, I mean, his broad jump is only 10 foot 3 inches as well, which isn't the greatest for an edge rusher.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it's okay, but it doesn't seem to add up to the player that we see.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, for sure. What's up, Jimmy?
What up?
We're just recapping day one here at the combine. So we're on edge rushers. I don't know if you got a chance to look at any guys yesterday or not.
Nah, I didn't get a chance.
Gotcha. I know another guy was Shamar Stewart, A&M. He blitzed most of the combine testing numbers. 4.59 in the 40 at 6'5", 267, 40 inches on the vert, 10.11 broad. Just ridiculous testing numbers. A riser, and I think he was already in the first round conversation, but I think the testing numbers solidified his spot in the first round.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And, of course, we didn't get to see Abdul Carter. We'll talk about him in a second. And then the linebackers. Didn't get to watch them live on the field, but did see their numbers and watched a little bit of the movement skills and stuff like that. In terms of linebackers, the one guy I was like, what happened was Jay Higgins, man, out of Iowa. I was like, holy crap. 4.82 in the 40, only 9'9", or no, 9'2" in the broad. Decent at 33 inches, but I was like, man, 6 foot 228. You're running a 4.82.
Yeah, you expect a lot more from him coming in at that size. Kind of disappointing, but
yeah,
he'll probably bounce back at his pro day. But to come out here at combine and kind of show this performance it's tough.
Yeah, I was surprised the UCLA boys had a good day. Carson Schwessinger didn't test at all, but his teammate Kane Medrano lit it up. 4.46 in the 40, 38-inch vert, 10.5 broad at 6'3", 222. Guy I didn't really know a ton about, but he balled out for sure. And then the only other 4.4 we had was the Auburn linebacker Eugene Asante, 4.48. That was the only testing he did. But it was interesting, I thought, when you look at the 10-yard split for Medrano versus Asante. And, Asante ran 200s slower than Medrano, but Asante was actually more explosive in short area quickness because he had 500ths faster in his 10-yard than Medrano did. So that was something that I thought was interesting to look at. And yeah, I don't think a lot of other linebackers stood out per se. You did have Nick Martin, I thought, was solid with a 38-inch vert. Teddy Buchanan was the leader in linebackers, 40 inches on the vert. And my boy Smile Munden from Georgia is leading in the broad jump, 10 foot, 10 inches. So I was impressed with him. Love it. My linebackers. I gotta look more into this class here. I was disappointed my boy Kobe King wasn't out there testing, or Jack Kaiser. I wanted to see Jack Kaiser more. We saw him at the Senior Bowl. He's excellent, but not sure why he didn't do any testing here. All right, let's get to the news. Start off college football news. A couple GMs getting hired, and the big one that went down this week, Oklahoma dropping a bomb, hiring Senior Bowl director Jim Nagy as their GM. So, I mean, yeah, Oklahoma got a great one. And
happy for him. It's a big gig. Yeah. And I think it raises a bunch of questions with what happens next with the Senior Bowl. What does that succession plan look like? Who do they have in mind?
It's like, bro, like, how do you follow that?
Yeah,
it's like any other quarter. Like, how do you follow Peyton Manning? How do you follow Tom Brady in the league?
One step at a time. One step at a time. So,
I think Tampa worked out pretty well with that and getting Baker Mayfield. Indy's still trying to.
Yeah, Indy's still.
I mean, they got Andrew Luck for a little bit, but still trying to find that.
Short-lived.
Nebraska also hiring a GM, hiring Patriots pro personnel director Pat Stewart. I don't know too much about him, but I do know Nebraska's probably in good hands. He's obviously a part of the Elliott Wolf tree. Dad, Ron Wolf, one of the greats of NFL history in terms of player personnel people. So I'm sure Nebraska, Matt Rule getting a good guy there. One transfer portal note, Georgia Tech quarterback Zach Gibson transferring again. I believe he's going to his fourth school. Has started everywhere he's been, at least a couple games. So moving on from Akron to Georgia Tech and then Georgia State. So we'll see where he goes next. I'm not sure if this is true. I saw Field Yates quote tweeted it.
Okay.
So I'm guessing it is true. Bill Belichick and North Carolina is going to be featured on HBO's off-season Hard Knocks after the HBO failed to find an NFL team to be on the show because apparently the Giants and the rest of the NFL teams were not happy how Joe Shane was portrayed.
Interesting. Yeah.
I mean, he did it to himself, though.
Yeah, he did.
Like,
I don't know how much that's on HBO. But, I mean,
Joe Shane did it to himself with the whole Saquon situation, and Mr. Mara did it to himself. I mean, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
All these NFL teams
they're sensitive, so I mean, I guess it makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know, but yeah, Field Yates said, "Let's get your popcorn ready." Essentially,
that's interesting.
Into the UFL, so the UFL sent out its rule book for the 2025 season training camp, kicking off this weekend actually for the UFL teams. So in terms of kickoffs, they kind of modified it a little bit, combining the NFL's dynamic kickoff with their own kickoff from last year. So they're going to move the kickoff from the 20 to the 30-yard line. Kickoff players, excluding the kicker, is going to look more like the NFL's kickoff, moving from the 20-yard line to the receiving team's 40. And then the receiving team has to have 9 players, up from it was a minimum of 8 players last year. So they have to have at least 9 players in between their own 30 and 35, which was moved from the 30 to the 40-yard line for the kicking team, which said there. And then the landing zone goal line to the 20, just like the NFL. Ball has to reach landing zone, or it's a 40-yard touchback there. Touchbacks kicks into the end zone, 35-yard line touchback. Landing in the landing zone and then into the end zone is 20-yard line touchback. And for reference, touchbacks were at the 25 for all touchbacks last year in the UFL. One change to the challenge system for the UFL head coaches. They only get 1, but they can challenge anything they want, including penalties, and they can create a penalty on their challenge. But this year they'll get a second challenge if they're successful in the first.
It's a good rule.
And then onside kicks, no onsides allowed. They're going to keep the 4th and 12 from the 28-yard line. I think they did onside kicks last year. I think they allowed onsides, but now they're not doing onsides at all and just having the alternative 4th and 12 from the 28-yard line.
I'm assuming that's probably because teams kept opting for that more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's higher probability of success than an onside. I think the NFL was 3 for 50 this year.
Sounds about right.
In onside kicks. Couple transactions for the UFL. The Renegades getting a big boost to their team, re-signing tight end Sal Cannella and defensive back Ajene Harris, both big-time contributors for Bob Stoops' squad in Arlington. I hate Arlington, but Sal Cannella is a dude. So.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's just performed every year he's been there. So I mean,
and got a little NFL experience this year as well. He was with the. Let's see here. Yeah, he was with the Bucks for a decent amount of the year.
I think he also came in to the Saints training camp too.
Okay.
A little bit.
And then the defenders, they signed former Cowboys second-round corner Kelvin Joseph, so NFL experienced guy there, helping out the corner room. Revamped secondary for DC. Michael Joseph retiring, their number 1 corner, so looking for some guys to get. They also re-signed DeAndre Baker as well. And then the Memphis Showboats making some moves right before training camp happened. They signed a couple receivers that can help out in the slot and in the kick return game and punt return as well. Former Maulers wide receiver Isaiah Henney and former Breakers wide receiver Eli Stove. I love the Isaiah Henney signing. He's probably the most dynamic returner that we're going to see in the UFL. Maybe. I don't know. I don't have all the guys' names in front of me. But all right, NFL news. Jimmy, we finally have like a million NFL news and notes because it's Combine Week. So, screw the Packers. They came out and announced that they were the team that submitted the proposal to ban the tush push, or the brotherly shove, as it's known in Philadelphia. No, it's stupid. The NFL, Troy Vincent, has said that there have not been any injuries reported on that play. And just because your butt hurt because the Eagles beat the crap out of you in the playoffs, Green Bay, it's not our fault that you can't stop the play. So just like Nick Sirianni has said before, if you wanna stop it, then stop it. Like it's not our fault that we're good at it.
Yeah. I mean, there's not much you can really do about it. I don't think it's a play that takes the integrity out of the game. I think it's one of those things like line up and play defense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it should necessarily be banned. So
or jump off sides 4 times in a row like Washington did in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, I don't know that. Delay the game more.
Hey man, they ran like 30 seconds off the clock every time they did that for Philly. So, but the Eagles aren't the only one. Like the Bills are very successful. They're the most successful team doing it in the AFC as well. So, Philly not the only team but they're the most successful team. Speaking of the Eagles as well, they will opt to visit the White House this time. They did not go to the White House when they won Super Bowl 52. They are going to go to the White House whenever they receive their invitation sometime this summer.
Cool.
The Commanders. So we have a bunch of teams allowing guys to seek trades. Commanders. Trade talks surrounding defensive lineman Jonathan Allen, 1 year, $15 million on his contract left, has dealt with some injuries, and obviously he's getting older. And Washington is, I think, transitioning to the younger team with some of the veterans that they had last year, though, still remaining. But yeah, I saw an article today on ESPN trade, like perfect trades for some of the top tradable guys there, and Allen, I think, was to the Ravens. I can't remember if that was the one or not, but anyways, lower level deal with the guy left on his last year of his deal. Kirk Cousins, Jimmy's boy, former boy.
My guy.
Remaining on the Falcons, GM Terry Fontenot said for the foreseeable future. So nothing imminent on the Kirk Cousins front, whether release
I feel like in coach speak that means he's gone pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's a lot of money to eat for Atlanta if they do it. But
as a Saints fan, I would totally be on board for that. So,
the Dolphins probably going to have to go tackle in the first round now. Maybe operating as if left tackle Tron Armstead won't be playing in 2025. Probably going to retire. Took his pay cut from $28.6 million down to the minimum, helping save the Dolphins about $27 million around there, something like that. So yeah, I mean, and he's going to make his decision whether he wants to return or not. But the Dolphins don't think he's going
that
to.
typically signifies that you're going to retire, dropping it all the way to the minimum. So sounds like he might be done.
Yeah, former Saint there.
Yep, great Saint.
Chiefs got good news. Tight end Travis Kelce going to return for 2025. Saying he's pissed at how the season ended and he doesn't want to go out like that. Well, sorry, Travis, you're not going to win again next year either. So, the Bengals announcing that they're preparing to make wide receiver Jamar Chase the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL. Sure. T. Higgins then tweeted out a cap emoji. So I don't think T likes that, but I don't know.
We'll see. Jamar's worth it for sure.
Yeah, he is. But he's like, they talked about Jamar. Why did they talk about me? I think is what T was trying to say.
Oh yeah. Well, let's be real. I mean, they're both great players, but I think Jamar's the bigger star. So
for sure, and of course, Bengals still have yet to franchise tag T. Higgins for a second time in a row, which people expect to happen. The Colts, GM Chris Ballard making interesting comments on his podium day. They're going to bring in a QB this offseason, open competition with Anthony Richardson. So, unlike last year where it was like, he's our guy. Not so sure this year for Chris Ballard and Shane Steichen there in Indy, because I have to believe the seat's getting a little cozy for Shane Steichen.
It's probably warming
and
up.
Ballard, really.
Yeah, for both of them.
Yeah,
I think it's warming up for sure. I'd just be interested to see who they bring in. I think it's going to be great to actually have some legit competition for Richardson. I think it's really going to either help him rise, cream rise to the top, so help him get better and grow, or obviously they'll figure out that maybe he's not the right guy, but I think he can be, but I would, like I said, I'd be interested to see who they bring in.
I don't think he can be. I've never been an Anthony Richardson person. He should have stayed at Florida for another year and got more development, and then maybe he would have went to a better situation in the NFL. I don't know. The Titans giving linebacker Harold Landry permission to seek a trade, $17.5 million due for him this season. I'm not sure if that's the last year of his deal or not. I think so, but he's a guy though I think will garner some interest for sure. One of the better pass rushers in the league. I think he's had like 31.5 sacks over the last 3 years, something like that.
Sounds right.
So
he's still fairly young too.
Yeah, I think he's just under 30.
Yeah.
28, 29.
Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah. The Giants, they are putting all their resources into Matthew Stafford this offseason. Top priority for them, trying to get a trade done. Waiting to see if the Rams are willing to trade Stafford or not. But that is what the Giants are trying to go after, which, I mean, if Matthew Stafford tells the Rams he doesn't want to go to the Giants, they won't trade him to the Giants.
Yeah, that's a big swing for them.
But again, the Giants, it's like, bro, like you're not a Matthew Stafford away. You're not. Like, you don't have the roster to have a Matthew Stafford come in and win. Especially when you look at the division itself. You got to go against Philly and Washington. And even Dallas, could be. They have the guys to do some stuff, not championship caliber, but, the offense is still probably going to be decent in Dallas. With the Packers, trade discussions surrounding corner Jair Alexander, 2 years, $37 million left on his contract, oft injured. I was surprised that he lasted all year on Green Bay this year with the off-field stuff and personality issues that I've heard coming out of Green Bay. Jimmy, you got anything on Jair in your division there?
He's cooked. He's 28 years old and he's cooked. He doesn't play. It's very clear the Packers are tired of him. And when he does play, he gets cooked. That's just as simple as it is. He's just not a good corner. He's not the corner he was 4 years ago. He's really fallen off the map. So I'm not surprised they're trying to move on from him. He just hasn't brought that production the last 2 years. He's been more of a distraction than anything else.
I have heard, though, that he is, in terms of, we'll talk about the corners in free agency, but I have heard that he's like the top corner available in terms of free agents and tradable guys. And by the way, getting breaking news here. So the Rams are closing in on a deal to bring back Matthew Stafford, reworked contract, and Matthew Stafford will be your starter again 2025 for the LA Rams. Makes sense. I mean, that was, I think, the consensus. What most people thought was going to happen anyways was he was going to be back in LA. They did talk to the Raiders and Giants apparently, but yeah, Stafford back in LA here. So
marriage isn't over yet.
First significant QB domino. I don't know if it's that significant. I don't know. All right, back to the rest of the NFL news here. The Bucs not going to re-sign safety Jordan Whitehead, not going to exercise his option bonus that he had on his deal, and making him a free agent. So the safety free agent class, which we'll talk about on Tuesday, because I'll be traveling on Monday, but Tuesday, talk about the safety free agent class. We're getting some guys added to it. Jordan Whitehead, Ravens safety Marcus Williams also preparing like he's going to be released by Baltimore. So yeah, a couple big name safeties on the market. 49ers GM John Lynch saying left tackle Trent Williams back for 2025. So I guess the 49ers can keep delaying the the tackle issue for another year, but they got to get someone eventually. And I think this is the year that they gotta draft someone higher to get replacement for 26 and beyond. Patriots giving defense tackle Devon Gottschall permission to seek a trade. He's in the last year of his deal. Rams doing the same with guard Jonah Jackson. I'm sure he is in the last year of his deal as well. Or not Jonah Jackson, Jonah Williams. Jonah Jackson's on the Lions. Jonah Jackson's on the Lions. Or I think he was. I don't remember. And then your Saints.
Yep.
Sticking with Derek Carr for 2025.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense, I guess, especially with Kellen Moore coming in. He's the only quarterback that's had a win on the roster in the last couple of years. So it gives us the best chance to win now, obviously, with the older roster, salary cap issues, yada, yada, yada. But I think what's disappointing for Saints fans and for myself is you would hope that with that new breath of fresh air, with the new coach, new mindset, you'd kind of just start fresh. But, that's not the case. So it is what it is. We'll rock with DC.
The NFL announced, I think that was yesterday, the cap for 2025 up about $24 million. But really, when you look at it, 9.3% increase, $279.2 million for 2025, up from $255.4 million last year. The cap has risen $53 million the last 2 years combined. So, exponential growth for the NFL, but getting some teams out of some situations for the Saints.
Yep.
Like that 24 mil extra.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Hope it was a little more, but we'll take it.
And finally, the Cowboys, they are working on a deal for defense tackle Osa Odighizuwa. Probably their number one free agent, I would say. You could maybe argue for DeMarcus Lawrence, but
or Zeke.
Yeah, Zeke. But yeah, Osa Odighizuwa, one of the top interior D linemen available on the market, probably going to be off the market by the time free agency hits in a couple weeks. The top, I think, overall offensive lineman available is off the market already. Franchise tag, Chiefs placing the tag on guard Trey Smith, 1 year, $23.4 million fully guaranteed, becomes the highest paid offensive lineman in the NFL, surpassing Eagles guard Landon Dickerson, which was he's at $21 million per season. So NFL rules changes. So the league going to use its virtual measuring system to determine first downs. Still going to be officials spotting the ball, but it's going to be after they spot the ball. The thing will buzz them and like, oh yeah, they actually got a first down. It wasn't short and whatnot. So
it's probably long overdue.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like how the UFL does it, where it's a virtual system and they show you a thing on the screen.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, it was a first down or not. I like the UFL too because it's like it goes down to the inch. Like it's like, all right, it's like 1 inch short. Like, oh crap. Potential replay assist expansion coming in 2025 as well. They have to vote on all these things, but potential penalties they're looking at adding to replay assists. Roughing the passer. They added roughing the passer, I believe, for a hit to the head, or they were thinking about it. But they're also looking at potentially adding hit below the knee for roughing the passer as well. Unnecessary roughness on a defenseless receiver or any other player. Face mask. Jimmy, go on your rant.
Yeah. Well, no fucking shit.
Sam Darnold.
This.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I don't. Every time I look at that play, I'm like, what the hell are the refs looking at? Are they off in space? Are they zoning out? Do they have money on this game? What the hell is going on?
How many times did Sam Darnold get face mask and it wasn't called this year?
A lot. At least 4. I'm not even kidding.
Contact of the hand with the face mask would be what they're looking at there. Tripping, which doesn't get called very often, but potentially. Illegal crackback block, again, not called very often, but horse collar tackle. I think that one definitely needs to be replay assisted because I think there's a lot of tackles that look like horse collar tackles, but they're really not. they get him in the front or something like that, or I don't know. And then QB slides as well is the big sticking point. Guys sliding late or whatnot. Patrick Mahomes, a big proponent of that one. A couple combine updates. So the tight ends and DBs are working out today, but Michigan tight end Colson Loveland, shoulder surgery, right shoulder, going to be healthy by minicamp, though fully healthy by training camp. So whatever team's looking to draft him, probably in the first round, he's going to be healthy by training camp for sure. And the big story yesterday was Penn State edge rusher Abdul Carter, stress reaction in his right foot. Initially, there was a surgery that Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport reported about, but doctors said they don't advise him to do that. Probably can figure it out with physical therapy. So he'll be good to go. Work out his pro day, apparently. I think that's March 28th for Penn State.
Okay.
And big news this morning. I like how I didn't even put that. Miami quarterback Cam Ward not going to throw at the combine tomorrow. So neither of the projected top two quarterbacks, George Sanders or Cam Ward, throwing tomorrow. Coaching carousel, some former coordinators getting hired. Jags hiring Bears offensive coordinator Shane Waldron as pass game coordinator. Bengals getting former Eagles and Bears defensive coordinator Sean Desai as a senior defensive assistant. Rams hiring Patriots offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt as a senior offensive assistant. And the Eagles today hiring Bowling Green head coach Scott Loeffler as a QB's coach. Love that move for Philly. Jalen Hurts is going to get a very experienced guy that played quarterback in the NFL. So, yeah, very excited for Scott Loeffler to join Philly in the revamped offensive coaching staff there. Retirement, big one. Seahawks offensive tackle Jason Peters retiring. He was a 2004 undrafted free agent with the Buffalo Bills. I don't know if he's the greatest, but definitely one of the greatest undrafted free agents of all time. Was in Buffalo 04 to 08. Philly for most of his career, 09 to 2020. The Bears in 21, Cowboys 22, Seahawks 23, 24. One-time Super Bowl champ, won Super Bowl 52 with Philly in 2017. Two-time first-team All-Pro, four-time second-team All-Pro, nine-time Pro Bowler, part of the 2010s All-Decade team as well. 248 career games, 221 of those starts, 7 career playoff games, started all of them. And he is now joining the Seahawks staff as a veteran mentor, whatever the hell that means.
Right, yeah. Hey, it's a job. Take it.
But yeah, I mean, I love Jason Peters, stalwart at left tackle for Philly for many, many years. And like I said, of course, proponent on our 2017 Super Bowl 52 squad. So, yeah. One injury to note, Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill, wrist surgery to repair a ligament, I believe it was. Not going to be able to work out most of the offseason or catch anyways. Might need to do
Makes
that
sense.
if you're a wide receiver.
Yeah. Or just use the other hand. Just use one hand.
Yeah. Not sure which handed it. I think it's his left one, but not sure what dominant handed it he is. So could be an issue. I don't know. Releases. Notable release, Jimmy. The Browns releasing long snapper Charlie Hewlett. Long time long snapper for Cleveland. Been with Cleveland since 2014.
It's tough.
I think it was 152 games or something like that. He started for Cleveland, or he played with Cleveland. So, Cleveland going maybe younger in the long snapper game. They're going to trade for Andrew DePaula.
No. Hey, long snappers are people too.
Facts.
A couple extensions here. Bills getting a big deal done, signing wide receiver Khalil Shakir, 4 years, $60.2 million. 32 mil guaranteed there. So That deserves a second one. And yeah, I mean, he had a great season this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, though. He's getting paid. I don't know what 20 mil is nowadays in terms of wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 money, but he's getting paid like the Bills' top wide receiver.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think he's operated as that over the last few years, right? I mean, I think at this point in their careers, I think he's a upgrade over Amari Cooper. You got more production from him. He had one of the lowest drop rates if he even dropped a pass this season. I mean,
I don't know.
yeah, great. I think it's a great signing. Go and do it now. Give Josh Allen his favorite target. I think it's good.
Yeah. Keon Coleman still developing, going into year 2 as well for Buffalo. So get that wide receiver squad together. 49ers, they signed. We talked about offensive line last show. They signed one of the linemen that was available, offensive lineman Ben Barch, 1-year extension through the 2025 season. So he will be back as depth there for San Fran. And before we go into the free agency preview for linebackers and corners, just want to note the Giants with the Matthew Stafford news now. They are exploring the rest of the veteran options, including keeping Aaron Rodgers in the New York market.
Nice. That's great television.
So, yeah. Sure. Again, you're not that type of guy away, New York Giants. Just saying. I don't know. I think they should bring back Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
All right, let's go to the linebacker free agent preview here. And I was surprised. I was like, dang, there's some dudes available in the linebacker free agent class this year. Of course, the number one guy, Zach Bond, he's not going to be available, guys. Just saying. He's going to re-sign in Philly.
Imagine saying that a year ago. Zach Bond's the number one linebacker in free agency.
Because he wants to be in Philly. Philly wants him back. He had an excellent season. Was in the Defensive Player of the Year running. And, yeah, all signs that I've heard for Philadelphia is that they want Zach Bond back. So I think they're going to get a deal done with him. Not really sure what the next kind of guy is. I think Zach Bond's the only true, like, number one linebacker available. You could maybe make the case for Nick Bolton, who's had pretty solid seasons in KC. I know a lot of people like Jamian Sherwood from the Jets as well, but
you could throw Greenlaw in there too.
He's
had a couple injuries here recently, but
he didn't do a ton in the couple games he played coming back from the Achilles in the Super Bowl.
But it's usually about a year away from that.
It
takes time.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets re-signed in San Fran, like a 1-year deal, just to see what he can do back from that for a full season there. But yeah, then you have a bunch of other guys. Bobby Wagner hasn't slowed down yet, and he just keeps playing. I think Washington wants him back. He'll probably be a year-by-year guy at this point in his career. You got a couple of guys though that were traded this season: Jerome Baker and Ernest Jones. I've heard the Seahawks want Jones back. I can't say the same for Jerome Baker, who got traded twice this season. Yeah. I don't think the Titans want him back. So he's going to be available. Love my guy Kaiser White, former Eagle there. Went to Arizona with Jonathan Gannon. He's a solid one. Spillane has had a great career in Vegas so far. Landon Roberts, great 2-down run stuffer there. But, I think there's a lot of guys that I like. Just not a lot of high-end, like, difference makers per se, I think. But, yeah, nonetheless, I think it's a pretty solid linebacker group. When you look at the draft this year, it's okay. Yeah. You got Jihad Campbell and Carson Schwessinger are the top two guys for most people.
Yeah. Don't leave out Stutzman too. I think he could be a good player long time in
Yeah.
the league.
I think there's a lot of guys that are going to go on day 2 and day 3 that are going to be solid. I know I like Jackson Woodard. My boy Jalen Walker. Is he an edge rusher? Is he off ball? Can play both. I don't know. He's an Eagle. So it's cool. But yeah, anyways, in terms of linebacker fits, let me see if I have any number 1 needs at linebacker. I think I do. Actually, no, I don't. I don't have anyone with the number 1 need, but that's just positional value, I think. Number 2 need, though, the Bengals. The Bengals, Akeem Davis Gaither is a free agent, and I'm blanking on the other.
Logan Wilson?
No, the other one. The guy that requested a trade.
I don't know. Look at that.
Yeah. But the Bengals, I do think, need some linebacker help with Davis Gaither on free agency and Jermaine Pratt requesting a trade there. Joe Bocci is a free agent as well, and they just don't have quality depth as well there. So I think if Jermaine Pratt is traded, potentially linebacker would go to the number 1 need. I still think it's interior D line for Cincy because of BJ Hill's a free agent. They released Sheldon Rankins as well.
Yeah, need someone to pair up with Chris Jenkins.
Jr. Yeah. Jay Tufele is a free agent as well. They did draft McKinley Jackson last year as well with Chris Jenkins. So they got some draft picks there, higher draft picks. But I do think linebacker is definitely an area of need for Cincinnati. That's why I have it as a number 2 wide receiver or need this year. Another team that I have as the number 2 need, I think it's just one more. Actually, no, 2 more. Seahawks. So Seahawks, obviously, like I said, Ernest Jones is a free agent. If they get him back, I'll probably slide linebacker down a little bit. But when you look at Seattle's roster, I love talking Seahawks when our boy John Babington's not here to defend his Seahawks. But they do have Tyrese Knight, obviously a solid player, but Josh Ross is a free agent as well. And again, it's another team that just the depth doesn't, blow you away.
Yeah, you need a few more dudes.
So if they re-sign Ernest Jones, might move linebacker down a bit on the needs for the draft. But obviously, I did these needs on February 17th, so they're going to change a lot.
Oh yeah.
And then the Bucks. The Bucks is the other one I have as the number 2 need. They're in the same situation. Levante David, longtime Buck, he is a free agent. They have Servassier Dennis there, but KJ Britt's free agent. JJ Russell's a free agent. So most of their linebacker room is not on the roster currently. So that's why the Bucks definitely need to get linebacker help. Whether they resign Levante David, which I've heard is kind of 50-50.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll see.
Older guy.
Yeah, he's been in the league forever.
And yeah, I mean, other than that, I think linebacker wise, I have the Cardinals as the 3rd need, Chargers as the 3rd need, Eagles as the 3rd need, but that's obviously depending on Zach Bond's situation. But yeah, I think there could be some team fits there. But I think it's interesting because I think all the teams that I mentioned, they bring their guy back. It's not as big of a need anymore.
Yeah.
So, all right, moving on to corners. So, corner was another one where I was like, dang, there's actually some dudes. There's some good quality guys here. A lot of guys that are veterans, actually. I was kind of looking at that. I was like, dang, there's a lot of guys that are like 7, 8, 9, 10-year vets.
Oh, yeah. There's a ton
corner. Starting off, Javarius Ward, I think, is the number 1 guy. DJ Reed, actually probably number 1, but Jimmy's going to make the case for Byron Murphy being the number 1 free agent corner as well. Many wants him back, though.
Mm-hmm.
They can't franchise him, though, Jimmy.
They can't.
They did that to themselves. They didn't.
Yeah. Although I do think Travarius Ward may not play next year.
Why?
Because of the loss of his child. He has made public statements talking about how next year may be in limbo for him.
Oh, okay. But yeah, other than those three guys, I think those are definitely like the dudes at the top there. There are a bunch of other guys, like I said, that are kind of on the older. Like Carlton Davis didn't have the greatest year in Detroit. You got a guy that isn't a big name, but Jonathan Jones has been very productive with New England. Rasul Douglas has had an excellent time in Buffalo. Mike Hilton still rolling as a slot corner. I would not be surprised if Indianapolis, if he follows Lou Anarumo to Indy as the defensive coordinator there, because Lou just knows how to use him in the slot blitz game. Dante Jackson is a guy I liked. I thought he played pretty well in Pittsburgh this year. Not the greatest. I was surprised the Panthers released Dane Jackson. He was a starter for them opposite of J.C. Horn. And then again, it's just like it's a lot of names. Like Tre'Davious White, Mike Hughes, Stephon Gilmore, Jeff Okuda. You got a bunch of guys that kind of on the older side, but maybe have a little bit more left. I do think Asante Samuel is one of the top guys available as well. Not sure if the Chargers are going to be able to bring him back or not. And then there's also some more guys right here. Not as big names, but still a lot of restricted free agents at the bottom there. Some guys that have had quality production, exclusive rights free agent, Jaquan McMillian as well for Denver. But any guys y'all like there in terms of, I don't know, maybe surprise contracts we might see?
Bit of a homer pick, but Stephon Gilmore and Shaquille Griffin had great seasons. Shaquille Griffin had a very, very underrated season. Like, he was really good in coverage. I could see him getting a really decent contract. I think he played himself into a multi-year deal.
Bro, but isn't he 30?
Yeah, but he had a great year. I mean, let me check his age.
He's 30.
Yeah. I mean, he had a really, really solid year.
Think about your boy Paulson Adebo.
No, I like Paulson Adebo a lot. I think he's better as in more of a zone-based scheme, but it's all going to depend on his injury health. Like, I know he started running and working out again with that since he broke his femur against the Broncos. But I think it's going to be like a 1-year prove-it deal with wherever he goes. But I think he's been a great player for us. It kind of gets handsy, kind of gets flagged a lot, but that's just due to his aggressiveness. So I'll take that all day.
Yeah, I have a ton of teams with corner as a number one need. Buffalo and Carolina, the number one, the first two here. Buffalo is because Rasul Douglas is a free agent. They need secondary help badly, and it would behoove them to re-sign Rasul Douglas to start that secondary revamp there. But yeah, Buffalo is the number one corners need for me. Other than that, Christian Benford's been actually pretty solid, but Kyer Elam is a cut candidate as a former first rounder. Brandon Codrington is a special teamer. And then they have Teron Johnson, one of the better slot corners in the league. Carolina is another one I have as number one corner need. That's because they need someone to help opposite J.C. Horn with Mike Jackson, a free agent. You look at Caleb Farley, Lonnie Johnson are free agents as well. They got a Caleb Evans off waivers last year from Minnesota, but didn't play a ton. And then, they got Show Smith-Wade going into year 2 as their nickel. But, yeah, they need help, depth and help opposite J.C. Horn at the starting corner slot there. The LA teams, I have both of them as corner with the number one need there. Starting with the Chargers, Asante Samuel, a free agent, as is Christian Fulton, their number 1 and 2 starters there. That's really the biggest reason why I have them as the number one corner. Eli Apple, free agent as well.
They had those 2 rookie corners that played really well last year.
Yeah, Tarheeb still, Cam Hart, excellent 5th round picks there. And then the Rams, like I said, both LA teams I think need corner help. Akello Witherspoon, a free agent there. Darius Williams has been okay. But I just don't like I'm not impressed with the depth that they have at corner. Vikings, Jimmy, is I have corner as their number one need.
Mhm.
Feels like we're going back to the Rick Spielman Vikings.
Yeah, I could definitely see the Vikings going as hard as they can to get Byron Murphy Jr. back. It seems like that may be in the cards. They do have a decent amount of cap space, and they'll probably free up some more with some releases of guys like Nick Muse, maybe even Josh Oliver. So I could see Murphy coming back. But yeah, I agree. I know the Vikings are highly interested in DJ Reed. I love DJ Reed. He's my number one target for the Vikings in the offseason. I know he was very dissatisfied with his time with the Jets, and the Vikings have the money and have the space to make it work with him, with Murphy or not. So yeah, I'm all in on getting a guy like DJ Reed or bringing back Byron Murphy Jr. Vikings do need corners. I don't think they're going to go 1st round corner this year. I don't think that's a priority. Maybe in the 3rd round, but I still think they'll probably draft in the trenches, probably interior offensive line or defensive tackle, and look to the free agent market for corners. So yeah.
Yeah, 4 corners as free agents: Byron Murphy, Stephon Gilmore, Shaq Griffin, Fabian Moreau, all free agents.
Yeah.
And then the last team I have as the number one need of corner is Seattle. Probably again, free agent status here for Seahawks. Not really. I mean, Josh Jobe, Trey Brown, both free agent. Artie Burns as well. But they need help. Reek Woolen, Devon Witherspoon, they need help. Not a great quality depth there for Seattle. I'm sure John would disagree. But, yeah, I think Seattle is another team that potentially could go after some of these guys. Maybe they bring back DJ Reed after he started his career in Seattle. All right. Let's go to Eagles-Chiefs mock draft here. So the Chiefs, 4 picks in the first 3 rounds, 31, 63, 66, 95. The 63 they got from the Titans. Or not 66 they got from the Titans. L'Jarius Sneed trade. Eagles have all their picks, 32, 64, 96. So let's go to the mock draft sim here, Pro Football Network. Thank you. And yeah, I'm going to go slow. So we got Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, 1 and 2. All right. Travis Hunter, the Giants. You got Abdul Carter for the Patriots. That's a steal. Will Campbell to the Jags. Tetero McMillan to the Raiders. Mason Graham for the Jets. Panthers getting Michael Williams. Go Dogs. James Pierce for the Saints. There you go. Yeah, Ashton Genty to the Bears. That's an interesting one. Will Johnson for the 49ers. Matthew Golden for the Cowboys. Dolphins going Armand Membu. Makes a ton of sense. The Tron Armstead. Tyler Warren to the Colts is one I've seen a ton of. Malachi Starks to the Falcons. Go Dogs. Keep him in Georgia. Luther Burden for the Cards. Calvin Banks for the Bengals. That's interesting. Tyler Booker for the Seahawks. John would love that one. Nick Imanwari for the Bucks. Makes a ton of sense with the Jalen Walker. Oh, trade. Rams 26-90 and 126 up 6 spots to get Jalen Walker. Cam Williams to the Steelers. Siobhan Revel for the Chargers. Kenneth Grant, Packers. Nick Scorton for the Vikings. Jimmy.
Nah, they want to go. They want to go edge.
Josh Simmons for the Texans. Emeka Egbuka for the Patriots. Was that another trade? Yes, it was. Patriots coming up from 38, 69 in the 5th. We got Derek Harmon for the Ravens, Trey Amos for the Lions. Hold on. Ben Morrison for the Commanders, Ariante Ursery to the Bills there. So, got the Chiefs here. We got 2 trade offers, moving back 7 spots, pick up another 3rd round pick. We have 3 3rd rounders for a 31 and a 5th rounder, I believe. I think that's a 5th, 168. Or the Texans want to trade the house to come up to get someone. I don't know who that would be. I don't like either offer, though, really.
Yeah.
Especially with what we have on the board here. D tackles. So for Kansas City, I have O-line, tackle, and guard as the need here. Unfortunately, there aren't any. Connerly at 42. So maybe we do take the Broncos offer. I don't know. I got offensive tackle, offensive guard, wide receiver, linebacker, running back, interior D-line. So we don't have any wide receivers either. Trey Harris would be the next one. Linebackers, Jahad Campbell, I would definitely consider, especially with Nick Bolton, a free agent. And running back, I would consider Omarion Hampton as well. I don't think the Chiefs would go running back though. I don't know. What do y'all think? Y'all think we should take the Broncos offer there? Interdivision trade, but we pick up a third round pick there.
They're probably moving him to get Loveland, tight end Michigan.
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised. That's one of the needs for Denver. Actually, I have that as their second need. What did they go the first pick? I forget.
They traded back twice. I don't even
think. Yeah, traded back twice. Yeah. All right. So, Jimmy, what do you think?
I know it's not a high need, but I like Tyreek Williams. I think he makes a ton of sense. Brings a lot of size. He's a run stopper. I like Jahad Campbell as well. Also, I forget his name. He's the offensive tackle from Arizona. I saw his name when you scroll down.
Jonas Savainea?
Yeah, Savainea. I liked him a lot.
Him at guard.
What was that?
I like him at guard. Actually, guard isn't a need anymore, really. It moves back in the needs with the Trey Smith tagging.
Yeah. But I do like him. I don't think the Chiefs would trade back. I think they should add a first-round talent. Sure, it's only moving back 7 spots and getting back a 3rd. But I think Tyreek Williams or Jahad Campbell make a ton of sense here. I know you said defensive line was probably a lower need, but I think getting a guy like Williams right up there with Karlaftis and Jones, that creates a really, really good defensive front. Tyreek Williams is a big guy. He's a run stuffer. He doesn't get to the quarterback often, but he does a good job of making sure quarterbacks can't step up in the pocket. I don't think they would pass up on either Jahad or Williams. And if they traded down, I don't think they get either of them. Maybe Jahad Campbell, but I don't see them getting Williams at 38.
They're going 7 spots.
Yeah.
So I think they would be able to get Jahad. And then they would be in range for Trey Harris and Omarion Hampton and Josh Connerly and all these O linemen here at 38. What do you think?
I don't think they'll move back. But in this scenario, the way the board's laying out, I say might as well. Let's trade back so we can get another asset and see how the board falls.
All right, Jimmy, you're outvoted.
That's fine.
So they came up for Tyreek. The Broncos did.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I hate that trade. Hate that trade for Philadelphia. I know you're getting a 2nd-round pick next year, which I know Howie loves to stack his futures picks. But
that's a late second. You're trading 2 late seconds and a late 4th.
Right. 32 to 60. No, 101 is a 3rd. 101
that's
is
a 3rd. Okay, that's a late 3rd then.
Comp pick. Yeah.
So a late 2nd, late 3rd, and late 2nd again.
They have the comp picks added in here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't like moving. That's way too far. 32 to 60 is way too far.
Yeah.
I also don't like this one. That's pretty far too.
Yeah, I'm not making either of these trades.
Yeah.
So
Stick
And I like what's on the board for Philly, anyways. With Mekhi Becton being a free agent, I have guard as the number one need for Philly. Edge rush is the number two need. Josh Sweat is a free agent. And look at that. We have a perfect scenario here. Mike Green is the guy I would go with. I love Jahad Campbell. I did a mock draft just by myself the other day, and I drafted Campbell at 32. I think that would be excellent. If regardless of whether they re-sign Zach Bond or not, they need to add a linebacker at some point in the draft because of Nakobe Dean's patellar tendon injury, and not sure when he's going to be able to be back this year. So I think eventually they're going to need to add someone, but I think they need to continue to keep the D-line intact and Howie loves his trenches. So I like Mike Green here for Philly, or Shamar Stewart, really, who balled out yesterday. What do y'all think?
Which one has the more of the body type that you guys go with?
Let's see. Mike Green, 6'3", 251. 6'5", 281. I feel like that is more of a what did the combine have him at? Let's see. Shamar Stewart, they had 6'5", 267. And Mike Green was 6'3", 251. So I think Mike Green's more of the style that Fangio likes, lighter speed rush guy. They compare with Nolan Smith on the outside there, but it also wouldn't. I mean, I don't think either guy's bad. With being 267, that's fine. Having a heavier guy on one side and Nolan Smith is a lighter dude on the other side that stands up. So I like Mike Green though more. I think just based off production. Led the nation in sacks last year.
Yeah, I agree with Mike Green. I'm not super impressed with Stewart. I think the backup option here for Eagles would be the tackle from Arizona that could move to guard. I think I'd put Mike Green first here. If Mike Green wasn't available, I'd go I forget how to say his last name. Starts with an S. Yeah. However the hell you say that. Jonah. I'll just call him Jonah. Jonah could be a good pick here. I wouldn't go Stewart. I don't know what it is. I wasn't impressed too much with his output in the regular season last year. It would be Mike Green or Jonah here for me.
To be honest, dude, if this board felt like it does, I would not be shocked how Roseman drafts Colson Loveland.
Colson Loveland, I actually was going to make an argument for. I think
they need to start thinking about the succession plan at tight end with Dallas Goedert getting up there in age now, and he's still signed for a couple more years. So, but they definitely need to start thinking about it. And I haven't really been impressed with Philly's depth at tight end. When Goddard has been hurt, they've been lacking a tight end playmaker. And he's been hurt the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So, wouldn't be shocked if they go Colson Loveland, but I'm going to go with need over BPA and go Mike Green. Brown's going Connerly. That makes a ton of sense. Jade Barron, Panthers trading up 57, 74, 110. Come up 20. Jonas Savaiinea, there you go. Titans. Caleb Johnson to the Jackson Dart.
He's there.
Dart going to the Raiders. Yeah, we're not moving back 20 picks. Sorry, Texans. Jimmy, what are you boys doing?
What are they doing?
Come on.
You're trading
the house for Colson Loveland?
I don't know. Maybe Walter Nolan. I know they need some defensive tackles. I think that would be like a Nolan kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, the board sets up perfectly still. Like I said, I loved trading back, getting an extra third-round pick for a fifth-rounder. And all the guys that I wanted for Kansas City are still here. So in terms of the number one need, I have tackle. Sucks that Connolly and Savaiinea are gone, which is, still okay. We could go Wyatt Millum to kind of help the guard, but I think I like going wide receiver and Trey Harris here. Let me see what other wide receivers are available. Yeah. Trey Harris.
Yeah. I'd wait on wide receiver here. I would go Campbell here, and then with the extra third-round pick. This draft is really deep, especially with running backs. So I would wait and get a wide receiver probably with the next pick, and then a running back in the third.
Ooh.
But I would take Campbell here.
Yeah, Marion Hampton. He's the guy that people like in the first round.
Yeah, I like Hampton too. But I don't know. I think there's so many running backs in this draft that are very, very productive that I think Kansas City would go Campbell here, running back, maybe the next pick, maybe later in the third.
If they didn't have Noah Gray, I would say hammer Colston Loveland.
Mm-hmm.
But
So
I
Jared
just think Noah Gray. Yeah, they drafted Wiley 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Last
year.
I don't remember.
Last year.
But still, I think with the tight ends that they had behind Travis Kelce, I think they're perfectly fine.
Yeah, they have pretty good tight end depth. I think they're fine.
Yeah, I like Campbell here too, especially just based on free agency. They're gonna lose to I forgot his name.
Nick Bolton.
Yeah, Nick Bolton
Probably,
and whatnot.
yeah.
So,
All right, I'm down with that.
boom.
Shamar Stewart, the Bears there. Saints, trading back. Walter Nolan, Chargers, 55, 86, 124.
Another trade.
Colts coming up for Xavier Watts, 45, 116. Jalen Milroe to the Jets. There it is. Wyatt Millam for the 49ers. Marion Hampton, the Cowboys. They finally get a running back. Washington coming up for Trey Harris, 61-79 going there to Chicago. Maxwell Harrison to the Falcons. Hey, Colston Loveland to the Cards. They're going to go 12 personnel all day. Jack Sawyer, Dolphins. Harold Fannin, the Bengals. They finally get a tight end. Donovan Ezrawaku for the Seahawks. Gray Zabel, Broncos. Landon Jackson. Oh, man. Pittsburgh's going to be wild. Isaiah Bond for the Bucks. Xavier Restrepo, the Packers. Why? Marcus Embo for the Saints. There you go. Cool. Deion Walker, Bills. Alec Manor for the Giants. JT Tuimoloau, Texans. Donovan Jackson, Ravens. That makes a ton of sense. Ashton Gelati for the Lions. Bears going Lathan Ransom. Quinshawn Judkins, Broncos coming up 85-90 there. Going to Buffalo. So Broncos using their picks they traded back with, getting up a couple. That's actually not bad.
That's good value, but I think they would stay. So,
and that's not. I don't like moving back that far. Even
all right, I got an idea for this one. I alluded to this earlier. I think this is back-to-back Ohio State running backs. TreVeyon Henderson, I think, is a really solid running back. I think he had a great season. I think the only problem I have with him is that he's more of a tandem running back, but with him and Pacheco, I think they could be a very effective duo. Henderson is also really good in the pass game. I think TreVeyon to the Chiefs makes a ton of sense here, and this is taking advantage of the depth at running back here in this draft for Kansas City.
I don't like it.
I
think you can get TreVeyon Henderson 3 picks later at 66.
Oh, that's right. They do have that.
I think you have to go the only tackle that's available, Emory Jones.
Yeah.
I wasn't that impressed with him at the Senior Bowl, but the Chiefs have to get a tackle.
To get at somebody.
Are there other tackles kind of in this range? Who else is there?
No.
Oh, no. Big drop off. Drop off.
Yeah.
So, I think it has to be Emory Jones. You have to get a guy.
Yeah, offensive line such a major need. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
All right, for Philly. Okay, no trade offers. Cool. We got Mike Green here, and so then I have guards still, but there's no guards. I don't think. Nope. Okay, so. Linebacker. We got linebacker wise. No one. Cool. Barrett Carter at 76.
Carson, the UCLA kid. I don't know how to say his last name.
Carson Schwessinger. Yeah, I don't know why they have him low that low. I mean, he would be a home run. He's not going to be here though.
Yeah.
Corner is the next one. So that's fine. That's good. We got some corners available. And then I have offensive tackle depth, which there's no one. So sure, let's go corner or safety. Really, I think you could go Makuba. I would not rule out your boy Alfred Collins either. Fill in the third D tackle position that Milton Williams is going to vacate there.
Or TJ Sanders.
That wasn't impressed with him yesterday. He looked a little slow in the movement drills. I think I like a guy, Azariah Thomas, though. He was pretty good in Mobile, and Eagles need some corner help. Darius Slay and James Bradbury both probably going to be gone. Avonte Maddox is a free agent in terms of nickel, but I like Azariah Thomas. And if you get a guy like him, you can keep Cooper DeJean inside and start Thomas outside opposite of Quinyon Mitchell and keep Cooper where he thrived in the slot.
Well, this is also a spot potentially for Mason Taylor to be the successor to Dallas Goedert.
Yeah.
Thinking about the succession plan. So,
Jamie?
I like the succession plan idea. However, this is a team that needs to compete and needs basically best player available at their need. I agree with getting a corner here. You could reach for a linebacker, but I think corner's fine. I think I'm under the impression they are going to get Zach Bond back. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I would go corner here. I think Thomas is a good pick.
Giants going Princely Monmielen. And we got Chiefs back up here. Yeah, no, we're not moving that far down. Sorry, Baltimore. So for KC, we got Campbell, we got Jones.
Running back, Henderson.
I'm still saying Travion here.
Yeah.
He's available. I don't think he'd be available at your next pick.
Yeah, we got some wide receivers available here. Chiefs need wide receivers, by the way. Tavion Williams, big body receiver that they really don't have. So is Jaden Higgins, 6'3", 217 there. Tez Johnson on the smaller side.
Or Shea Rice. I mean, he's not huge, but
yeah, but he's
they'll get Rice back. Knowing Andy Reid's offensive philosophy, he really likes speedy wide receivers. Like, sure, they brought in Hopkins, who was a little bit bigger, but I don't think they fell in love with him or his play style. So, again, I'm still going to defend Travion Henderson here. I think him going to the Chiefs creates a tandem with Pacheco that makes a ton of sense. I think Travion to the Chiefs would be a big get, especially right here at 66.
Yeah. So you got Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, the only really wide receivers they have coming back. Mm-hmm. D-Hop, Juju, Justin Watson, Hollywood Brown, all free agents, as is Mecole Hardman. They got Nico Remigio and Sky Moore signed as well. Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with the running back. Kareem Hunt, Samaje P. Ryan, both free agents leaving.
And the thing is, they're picking at 69, like in 3 picks.
Yeah.
So they'll definitely be wide receivers. I think a decent wide receiver is going to be at 69. I think there's a decent chance Henderson is not available at 69. I think maybe a team's going to trade up with the Browns or Raiders. I think you got to take the best running back left on the board. I don't think that's something you could pass up.
I vote for Henderson as well.
Okay. Yeah, I'm on Henderson.
Kyron Lacey going to the Browns, jumping all the other guys. Holland Pierce for the Raiders. And we're back up at 69. Baltimore still trying to come up. 14.
Pittsburgh looks interesting, but I think they would stay and get that wide receiver that you were mentioning.
Yeah, and I think it has to be one of the bigger guys.
Savion's a versatile chess piece too, because he played running back, receiver, he even plays a little bit quarterback, wildcat quarterback at TCU.
They said he's going to get running back reps, right, on Saturday.
And he's just a weapon, so that's Andy Reid's wheelhouse right there.
Yeah, Andy Reid loves his weapons. So what's his size?
That's wild.
6'5", 225?
Oh,
yeah. Oh, Savion Williams to the Chiefs. I think this is perfect. He's
big.
I vote for Jaden Higgins. I really liked what I saw from Jaden Higgins in Mobile. Not as big, 6'3", 217. Still a jump ball guy, though. Excellent career at Iowa State. But yeah, I mean, the thing I hesitate with Savion Williams is he reminds me of another former TCU guy in Quentin Johnston. But Quentin Johnston, pretty solid year in year 2.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just the helmet speak right there. I don't think they're the very similar players. I like Savion a lot more than I did Johnston.
I liked Johnson because he was the only big wide receiver in the first round conversation.
Yeah, but his hands were questionable. I don't want to have those same concerns with Savion.
Yeah, the only other thing I would say, because we have one more pick for the Chiefs at 95, and he's not going to be available because of offensive lineman getting booted up. Tate Ratledge would be excellent to help solidify the interior. They have Trey Smith, and they have Joe Tooney probably sliding back in. But they kind of need some depth at guard, and we already got a tackle. We'll see if Kingsley works out in year 2, but yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to going with my Georgia boy and Tate Ratledge, but yeah, I think wide receiver definitely solid. So which one are we on with? Are you guys outvoting me on Savion Williams?
Yeah, I think we are. I think Savion's size and ability to just be in on trick plays and interesting formations is something Andy Reid would love.
Maybe it turns into a Cordell Patterson. Jag going Kevin Winston. Saints getting Darian Porter.
Nice.
Bears going Mason Taylor. Denzel Burke for the Raiders. Giants.
Denzel burnt toast.
Elijah Arroyo for New York. Alfred Collins, there's your boy to the 49ers.
Nice.
Jared Ivey for the Cowboys. Patriots going Tate Ratledge. Makes a lot of sense there. Omar Norman Lott for Arizona. Chicago. Jalen Royals. Zy Alexander. Colts. Bengals. Cam Scatterboot. Wow.
Ooh.
Pair him with Chase Brown. Excellent. Johnny Cornelius. Seahawks. Barrett Carter for the Steelers. Texans coming up 89-167 for TJ Sanders. Kyle Kennard for the Bills. Saints getting Tez Johnson. Carson Schlesinger for the Packers. Jaden Higgins. Jags. Vikes coming up 97-161 for Shamar Turner. Bills getting Dylan Fairchild. Go Dogs. Chris Paul Jr. Ravens. Jack Bess. Jets, Andrew Makuba for the Saints, DJ Giddens for the Browns, and we are back on the clock with the Chiefs. We are not doing that. That one's interesting. What do we got on the board here?
I don't think there's any needs that pop off the board here for me. Maybe a corner?
Yeah, I would say we move down and maybe go after a guy like Anthony Belton. Just to push another tackle in there.
Maybe double. The double up wouldn't be bad. I think you take that trade.
2 spots for
That's good value.
Yeah, let's take it.
Bucks come up. Braden Swinson is what the Bucks wanted. That's interesting for sure. I don't like it. Interdivision trade. I'm not doing that one.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
So what we got for Philly here? We got Mike Green, Azariah Thomas.
Can we do the tight end now? Gunnar Helm?
Gunnar Helm?
There's not 8 linebackers because I ain't not touching Jay Higgins after what he did yesterday. Hell no. I do have tackle depth as a need for Philly because Fred Johnson is a free agent, their swing tackle last year. And I'm not a big fan of Darian Kennard. LaRaven Clark, also a free agent. Jack Driscoll, a free agent as well. So I definitely think there is a need. I would not be opposed to going Anthony Belton for Philly here because of the need for tackle depth. I do think they're going to re-sign Fred Johnson. So if they do that, wouldn't be as big of an issue. Gunnar Helm, would be an interesting one. Wide receiver depth as well. I know they drafted the 2 guys last year, but they got Britton Covey's restricted free agent, so they're going to get him back. Paris Campbell's a free agent as well. Jahan Dotson really didn't work out, except in the Super Bowl. He had a good Super Bowl, but other than that, yeah, I mean, I don't know where to go. I think just
I'd go tight end here. I would go home. I think it's kind of close to BPA. Plus,
I wouldn't be opposed at going doubling up on edge rush though either. With Brandon Graham retiring as well. Josiah Stewart is a guy I drafted in the 3rd round in my last mock with Philly. But I my vote is, even though it might be a little bit of a reach, I would want to go. Where did it even go? Anthony Belton is my pick. Can never have enough linemen.
I agree.
What do you got?
Well, I mean, if you guys agree, I'm already voted out.
I thought Jimmy was.
No, I agree with the concept. I'm not saying
go
for the vote, but I agree with what you mean. Like,
actually,
trench depth.
Actually, your votes don't matter because it's my team. So I'm gonna pick Anthony Belton.
When Dallas Goedert gets hurt, hopefully you have a tight end.
We will. We're gonna sign someone in free agency. Yeah, we're not doing that. So we're finally on the last pick here with Kansas City. We got a solid class: Campbell, Jones, Travion Henderson, Savion Williams. The only one we didn't get, which it doesn't matter anymore, is guard. Interior D-line is my last need for Kansas City. And we got one guy, Josh Farmer, who has moved. I liked him moving yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
He would be a guy that I would like. Or, it's never bad double up on receivers because they have four wide receivers as free agents. So, well, we don't really need another big guy. Aiden Prather is another big guy. Okay. Ty Felton's a smaller guy, 6 foot. Yeah. But I would go. I think I'm on the Josh Farmer train here.
Can you scroll down a little bit? I think I saw a name. A little bit more. And there he is. Jared Wilson out of Georgia. I don't know how versatile he is, but I think he could add to that interior offensive line depth. That I think
veteran guy. Veteran. Started a ton of games at Georgia.
Yeah. I like him. I've liked him to the Vikings in like the 3rd, 4th round for a while. I think he could be versatile. I think that he could be an interesting pick here for the Chiefs. He'd started a ton. So that's my interesting probably reach pick there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. They drafted Hunter Norzad out of Penn State last year. I think they like him as the potential successor. Not really a successor, but a good backup to Creed Humphrey. So I don't know.
I kind of like an edge rusher here just to add another body out there.
Yeah.
Josiah Stewart. I think he pair nicely up there.
Yeah. I mean, they do have guys, free agent, Charles Menahu, Josh Uche, Malik Herring, restricted free agent. FAU, 23 first rounder, Mike Dana, Karlaftis. Yeah, I don't think it would be a terrible selection. So we got a 3-way tie. Well, the interior D-line, 3 out of the 4 guys on the active roster are free agents. Mike Pennell, Derek Nottie, Tershawn Wharton. They need someone to play with Chris Jones.
Yeah.
And I was kind of pounding the table for Tyreek Williams earlier. So, yeah, I think I'm kind of swinging towards defensive tackle a little bit here.
It's fair.
Josh Farmer it is. All right, filling out the draft here. Dorian Strong to the Dolphins. Josiah Stewart for the Niners. Rams going to Ozzie Trapilo. And the Lions going Torrey Horton. Round out the draft there because I think there's only 101 picks. Yeah. All right, so that's what we got. Kansas City with the most picks. We got 5. We started out with 4. We added a third rounder. Jahad Campbell, second round. We got 31 and 168 for 38 and 69. You got Emory Jones at 63, Trayvon Henderson at 66, Savion Williams with that third rounder we picked up from Denver. And then Josh Farmer moved back 2 spots to pick up a 5th rounder next year and with Tampa, and got Josh Farmer there. Philly didn't trade at all. We got Mike Green at 32, Azariah Thomas 64, Anthony Belton at 96. Would have liked to get a linebacker, just board didn't fall that way. Unless we would have taken Campbell at 32 and got an edge rusher later, which I think is definitely an option for Philly.
Yeah. 2 solid drafts.
All righty. And I don't think anything has come up in terms of news as of lately. The Stafford deal apparently is finalized or going to be finalized.
That makes sense.
Likely happen after free agency, they said, which is kind of wild, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, whenever, as long as he gets it.
But yeah, next Friday, we'll be back off-season week 4. We got all the NFL and college news, and then we'll continue our mock draft series. We're doing Bills Commanders on Tuesday, Ravens Lions on next Friday. So got a job. So we will see when we can start doing the podcast around the job. So cool.
Congratulations.
Thanks, man. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media at FAA Podcast on Instagram and X, FAA_bets on X as well. FAApodcast.com is our website. Check us out here on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram, as well as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and TikTok at FAA.podcast. And we will see y'all back on Tuesday this week.